Do you want to achieve a 94% win rate with trading? Then this video is for you, man. Yeah, sorry, I've been gone for a while, but I'm back now. And I know all of you guys have been waiting for this video to show you how I went 2 months without almost losing once. Ooh, bar. And yeah, I'm back now. Dude, what is this angle? My fucking arm looks tiny. Let's go over this, right? Because apparently you only have the first minute of your YouTube video to hook them in. If not, they're not gonna watch it, which I don't give a fuck. This was pretty much what my statistics looked like for a 2-month stretch. I filtered it from beginning of May to end of June. And so you can see here, beginning of May, well, all of May, I won. I didn't have a single red day. I did have one loss in May though, one losing trade. And then in June, I had almost no red days. I had one red day, which could have been completely avoided. Now, it's funny because the video that this is about, the strategy that I'm going to teach, doesn't include the fucking setup that I took here, which was some dog water. If I would have only taken the strategy which I'm teaching in this video, I'm not even kidding you, I probably would have ended up with like 100% day win across 2 months, even higher P&L, everything, whatever. Like, it's really just an incredible strategy, but it does require you having this level of discipline, this level of patience, knowing when not to trade. As you can see, there's a lot of days where I don't trade. Wednesday, Friday, fucking Tuesday. You can see many days of the month I didn't end up trading because I didn't have that setup. Also, as you can see, 1 trade a day is the average because the setup really is primarily at one time. I mean, it is only at one time during the day, and it's right when market opens. So it's really important to keep that in mind. And now also, before you say, oh, well, how do we know if this guy is not editing this? Here, I'll refresh it for you. I'm sharing this entire thing, and you can still see all these statistics remain the same, right? So clearly you can see this is an incredible cumulative P&L chart that we have going on here. I mean, just sick. Anyone would dream of something like this. But before I get into this, I just want to say, don't expect yourself to be trading at this level, at this high win rate all the time, because this is what happens when your psych is on point, when everything is on point, and when you're executing things exactly as you should be. As you can see, if you want to see my month for July, it's looking bad. It's looking bad. I mean, I'm technically only down like 2 trades, but it's been bad because I haven't been trusting my, not that I haven't been trusting my system, but my psych hasn't been there. I've been waking up late. I've been missing setups and settling for the next best thing. And so that's what I don't want you to do, right? If you want to achieve a really high win rate. This strategy is immaculate. One thing I want to confirm is that I'm also not lying about any of this. And because I can show you through Tradeovate directly, which is, you know, I don't even think you can edit it. From May 1st to July 1st, go. You can see that here, yes, it doesn't show 90+% win rate. It shows 75%, but it's also including trades as losses that I would consider break even. Like if you look here, this includes it as a loss, right? I think there was realistically, it even includes this little day as a loss, which is like a $500 loss or some shit, which was just because I had my break even a little bit under, you know, my break even. So it's in slight drawdown. And so I know a lot of people want to like try to invalidate me and my performance, which I don't care. Like I'm not like obsessed with trying to prove people that I'm good at something, or obsessed with trying to just like, I don't care what other people think. I mean, I'm sure you guys can see that. I'm not really on the trading side of social media a lot. It's the last thing I care about. I think the whole community kind of sucks. But, you know, believe what you want to believe. I'm showing you everything I can really to just be as transparent as possible. You can see the P&Ls pretty much add up. I think there's a slight difference there of like about $1,000. You can pretty much see it here. So the only parameter I do have set in TradeZella is my break even. My break even ranges from minus $550 to plus $550. So if I make $550, it still counts as a break even. If I lose $550, it counts as a break even, because that's usually where my stop loss lies when I put it at break even. I either have it a little bit in profit or a little bit in drawdown. So last thing I want to confirm before I go into this, if you want to fact check any of the trades that I'm going over, and this could have been an even more green month. This could have been a way more green month because I could have traded all this week and won even more. But if you want to fact check everything, you can clearly see here that the setup I'm going to teach you is that 9:30 patty swing, which happens, you know, around 9:30. So you can see 9:33. You can see 10 a.m. Maybe that one was a little bit later. 9:39, 9:40, 9:53. 9:43, 9:31, 9:49, 9:36. See, break evens, and those aren't patty swings. I'll tell you that. 10 a.m. could still be a patty swing. 9:53, 9:34, 9:30, 9:46, not a patty swing, and that was a loss. So the strategy is incredible. Most of these trades I'm taking are this setup specifically, which I'm teaching in this video. And pretty much every single one of my wins have been this setup, and the ones that the trades that have been losses are usually when I don't take this setup, because I get impatient. But I hope you're understanding where I'm getting at with this now. And I've given you the proof in the pudding that it works, but I've also showed you that no matter how good a system is, if your psychology's bad and all other factors, you know, are not in check, you can have a month like this, which isn't a bad month. I'm only down 10K, which is really not bad at all. I can make that back in one trade, but my psychology hasn't been good. I got back from traveling, and I guess, you know, obviously very strong months, and then that being said, let's get into what is the patty swing. The patty swing pretty much operates like this, right? You want to look for pre-market accumulation, which usually happens, you know, right before 9:30 for about 30 minutes. And then you want to look for 9:30 to manipulate in a certain direction towards a key level. And then you are going to catch the inversion in the opposite direction, which then has very nice and strong distribution. And you catch that distribution move, right? So if we break down a setup like this, which this was perfect, this is about 2 weeks ago. This is just textbook, right? Because it looks so obvious. But let's explain the thought process behind a trade like this. Okay, so first thing I would do when looking for this setup is go into the higher time frame and try to determine what it is that I want to take on the day. Do I want to look for longs, or I want to look for shorts? Well, if I open up the higher time frame, I'm going to keep it very simple. I do my surface level analysis. Price is very bullish right now. It is very bullish. Okay, so ideally a long would be better because it is in correlation with the higher time frame movement, right? Also, on top of price being very bullish, we have an unfilled 4-hour gap above. So there is a reason for price to remain bullish. So not only am I figuring out why, you know, in which direction I want price to go, I'm also figuring out where price could go. And so this is what I call a foundation and a narrative. My foundation, my fact is here that we're very bullish, and price is displacing off this hourly bullish gap, and we're going higher, and we have this unfilled 4-hour gap above, and that serves as my narrative, right? So now what I want to find going into the morning is a scenario. This is where I create my scenarios. What do I want to see happen when market opens in order for me to take a trade? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the 5 and 15-minute chart and look for potential scenarios. I can see price manipulating down into here and reacting off this 5-minute intermediate low. I can see price reacting down here off this 15-minute gap. And so considering how bullish price is, I want to see market open lower and then price give me a long. I also like to confirm these ideas by going onto ES and making sure that ES is also in a position to distribute higher. So just looking at ES, very surface level. I'm on the 5-minute. I see, okay, ES still has these stacked highs above. Looks like price is going higher in ES, and it could want to go to those highs. Can I confirm that with the 1-hour chart? The 1-hour chart does in fact also look bullish. We are currently trending higher. It looks like we do have this hourly bearish gap, but for the most part, price has continuously gone higher, and I can expect ES to also want to go higher if NQ presents a setup. Cool. Don't want to overthink it. I don't want to overthink it. Then I'm going to wait for market open. I have my scenarios built out. I want to see price manipulate at least to here, ideally down to here, right? And then price opens up. What does it do? It manipulates down to this 15-minute gap. Awesome. That was my ideal scenario. It trades into this key level, and now we're getting that reaction. The key factor to having such a high win rate, and this is the reason I'm absolutely fumbling the fucking bag this month comparison to those 2 months, is my emphasis on structure and displacement. Structure implies that you have a clean manipulation leg with a clean inversion at the point of your entry. Bad structure looks like this: very choppy price action, very wicky, and you don't want that. You want to be entering off these clean manipulations. And good structure also usually doesn't have 1,000 fair value gaps in that leg. You know, it manipulates just as fast as it inverses, is pretty much what I want you to look for. Like, it's a fast move, it's clean, and it looks like this. Like, you know, when you're breaking out of a certain range of price, it manipulates with strength and it comes back strong too. That is clean structure. You want to see clean structure like that. And then you look for an inversion. unlike the other things I've taught in the past regarding, oh, take the highest time from inversion, this setup doesn't really require that. The focus is displacement with an inverse. So you don't want to necessarily look for the highest time from inverse. You want to look for a inverse, which with this patty swing, with this setup, is usually between, you know, the 1 to 3 minute range. I mean, I either take a 30-second or a 1 minute with the patty swing. Honestly, focus on that. Focus on the 30-second and the 1 minute. Look for that gap that you want to see get inverse on the 30-second or the 1 minute chart. And once you identify that gap, which in this case we had a clean 30-second, right? Once you identify that, then you want to see price displacing through it strongly. Look at the reaction of these candles and how hard they're just running through this gap. That gives me conviction. I don't care if this candle closes here or if it closes up here, as long as my target is still intact, which let's say, like, I don't know, it's all the way fucking up here or whatever. The point is, don't fixate on where it's closing. If it ends up displacing even higher and closes up here, you still got an entry. So don't be discouraged. Enter. That is more conviction. That is more reason for you to enter. It is showing you how bad price wants to rip through that manipulation leg and continue going higher. In this case, right? You can also take shorts. And so when I see this close, I have full conviction for this trade. I know that price manipulated lower. I created my scenario. My scenario was for price to manipulate down to this 15-minute. I'm getting the inverse now. I'm getting my entry. Awesome. And now I'm ripping this entry. And how am I going to go about my break even in this case? Since this is a continuation long in this, right? And I have this very clear higher time from key level that I feel strongly that price is going to want to go to. Then I'm going to go look for those 5 and 15-minute gaps to go break even at, which in this case, the nearest one is right here. The fuck is dictation? So I have this 5-minute intermediate high, which is simply a high inside of a 5-minute gap. And I really want to make sure I'm break even at this high because I can expect a reaction off of that. And so I'll go break even here and then hold my trade up to that draw on liquidity that I have a lot of conviction for. And so I'm break even there, and then obviously it hits right after. And so the great thing about this setup is that it quite literally plays out in like 3 to 5 minutes. That's how you know it was a good setup, and everything, all those factors were in play. The good structure, the good displacement, the higher time from narrative, all that shit. You know it was all there when you get this type of reaction. You can expect this from most setups that you're taking at 9:30 because it is a high volatility time frame. And volatility works in your favor, which is what people don't understand. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to trade 9:30 because it moves too fast. It happens too fast. Bro, that works in your favor. That works in your favor. That's what you want to look for. So this is an example of like a continuation patty swing, right? Because you're utilizing the momentum of price that's been going higher and you're looking for a long to continue going higher, right? However, you can also take this same setup within a range. Like let's say you take a long or like market opens and you see, oh, okay, well, price has like an unfilled 15-minute gap up here, and we have an unfilled 5-minute gap right here. And so you create both those scenarios, right? You tell yourself, okay, well, I'm willing to take shorts if price manipulates higher at open, or I'm willing to take longs if price manipulates lower at open. And that's why the setup is so good. But you need to create these scenarios before you actually go into any market. So scenario building is one of the most important things ever. Always build your scenarios. What do you want to see before when the market opens? What is your ideal setup? That is how you go about that. That is how you get such a high win rate and stay so consistent. And so in this case, you can be like, oh, well, if we manipulate higher, then I'll take shorts down to this unfilled 5-minute gap. Or if we manipulate lower, then I'll take longs up until that 15-minute gap. Right? So you see how simple like that thought process is. When you keep things that simple, you perform well. Yeah. Now let's get into all these trades, or at least all the patty swings, pretty much of those last 2 months, May and June. Really, all I'm gonna do is just go into FX replay and then just fucking put it to start in May. And I'll just go through the entire month and through the entire month of June and see what win rate we get. Guys, do I mog? Also, I don't know if you guys can see, but I've been making music in case you follow my personal stuff. I mean, you guys always know I fucking like music, so I'm always playing you guys songs at the end of these videos. Yeah, I'm dropping a song soon. You guys want to go pre-save it? that would mean the world to me. And also, I'm starting a new YouTube channel. So I can post all these sick vlogs I've made. I've made literally like short films pretty much and crazy stuff that I would love for you guys to see. If you're more interested in my life outside of trading. Oh, ignore the sweat stains. The channel is called Mr. Lovelace, like my TikTok username. Mr. MR Lovelace, Lovlace. So go check that out. I'm posting some cool stuff there, and I would love for you guys to support that. All right, come on. Let's get our goner. So what is it? Friday. Friday, May 1st. Did we already miss one? It already skipped us through this session. So did we miss one? No, we didn't miss anything. Cool. So let's go to the next day. Okay. So this is how I start off every single morning, pretty much. First, I'm gonna create my scenario. Is there anything here? Well, for the most part, we look really fucking bullish. Yeah, so we look really bullish. If anything, I'd want to take a long up to this high, potentially. So if I were to look for any sort of patty swing, I want to see manipulation lower. Where could I see manipulation lower to? Down to this 15-minute gap, and then go from there. So that's the setup of the day, right? And I have that pre-market accumulation. I love what I'm seeing so far, so let's see if we get anything. Okay, so price manipulates higher instead of lower, which is fine. I can take shorts because now we've hit this key level. So this still works. The manipulation happened higher. It maybe wasn't my ideal scenario, but it was in my scenarios. And so in this case, if I wanted to take anything, I could just take a short from here if we get an entry. And okay, it looks like we still have good structure. I like this resweep. So the trade idea is still there. We have a nice 30-second. Let's see if we get that. Not loving the structure. See, so once you start getting this, where like this accumulation period, it's fine. It's invalidated. You don't want to be trading this, right? You don't want to be trading this. It doesn't look clean. So what do you do if it doesn't look clean? You wait for a new leg. Let's see if we get any new leg. This is probably a day we'd fade. Did I end up taking anything on this day? This is May 4th. So it looks like I didn't trade May 4th, May 5th. But whatever. I guess I'll just show you guys days you'd fade. So you can clearly see what don't we have good here? We don't have good displacement, right? There is some decent structure here to be shorting, but overall structure isn't the best. Displacement is very low. We have low volatility. This is a day you'd want to fade. I hate to start with like just trades where days you wouldn't take, where you wouldn't trade, but this is going to help increase your win rate. So I want you guys to also learn this and show you just how the raw reality of this strategy. Like you could just get a day where you don't get anything, right? And we're only going to focus on that 9:30 to 9:50 interval to enter a trade. Now let's go into the next day. The next day also just already looks kind of bad. But higher time frame isn't a good place to be longing, right? So I can see here that we do have an SMT at this bullish hourly fair value gap. You can see NQ is down here, but ES isn't down here, but that's fine because my main focus is NQ. So if NQ is there, then I'm in a good position to trade. Even if ES was there and NQ wasn't, then I'd be in a good position to trade. So if I wanted a long, I'm in a good spot to be longing. And I just got to identify some key levels to target. So I go on the 5-minute chart. I see that we have this unfilled 5-minute gap above. Awesome. So we do have a foundation. We have a narrative for price. So going into market open, I want to see manipulation lower and then take a long off that. And so it looks like we get that manipulation a bit earlier than we wanted. Price hasn't opened up yet. Then market opens, it manipulates lower. And let's see, there's this 30-second trade here that we could take. Let's see what we ended up taking just to confirm on Wednesday, 9:33. So 9:33 was, okay, I gave it one extra candle because I wasn't sure if we had inverse here. So what did I do? I wait for one extra candle, give me extra conviction, and I enter right here, right? So I entered around right here, anywhere within this area. Whether it's here or here, I think it was actually right here. And the way I played this, so this is actually a bit of a late entry. Let's bring it back right here. 9:33, right? I'm focused on displacement here. This gives me a lot of conviction for this trade. We inverse this 30-second. I wanted some extra conviction. I got the CISD as well as confirmation, and I'm looking at target. I'm going to put my stop loss down here, and I'm looking at target at least 1-to-1, which is right around where that key level lies. So my trade would look something like this, and we would buy, market, cool, and then play this out, okay, and bang, hits TP. You would want to be break even right there, but that's pretty much one trade, right? You could have entered down here However, I wanted extra confirmation through displacement, which a lot of people would see something like this and be like, oh my God, it's fucked. The setup is fucked. But no, your key level is still intact. Maybe you're not getting as much RR, but if it gives you more conviction, then that's like a habit you guys should get into. So cool. That was a trade for Wednesday. Thursday was a no trade day, and Friday was a trade day. So let's see let's see why Thursday was a no trade day. Okay, so Thursday just off rip looks extremely choppy. Higher time frame, very wicky. Not really a good understanding of what price is doing. A lot of lows resting below. Makes perfect sense. So, I mean, you can't be longing, and that's the only thing price is presenting because you have all this LR below, so that would be a fade day. And yeah. So this is just a very clear fade day. Let's go on to the next day. All right, so far we only have one trade taken in May for the first week. I got a long at 9:39, so let's see that. That seems to be a nice morning swing. Immediately going into this, I mean, I can already tell what I wanted. I have two scenarios in mind here. So we have this is a good example. All right, so we're bouncing off these bullish gaps on the hourly time frame. We also have this unfilled hourly gap above, so I can do two things, right? Going into this morning, I would either want to see price manipulate lower at open, resweep this low, and then get a long to the upside, right? That's my scenario one. We go down here and then go up, or scenario two, we go up and then go down. You guys get what I'm saying? So let's see what happens here. Okay, price goes down at 9:30. Our time of entry was around 9:39. So on a day like this, right, you can clearly see we have good structure. We have this clear manipulation leg right here. We're reacting off this 15-minute gap, the same gap that we mentioned before, and we still have this unfilled gap above. There's multiple ways you can go about your entry, right? If you want to really zoom down and like take something early here, you can probably catch this 15-second, which is honestly the most ideal scenario here. This is maybe what I did. I can't quite remember exactly how I went about it, but I think I went about it with this 15-second here. Or an alternative would be like you could wait for this 1 minute, right? So anyways, let's see here, 15-second chart. I believe this is what I had done that day, and I entered right here, right? So yeah, despite the fact that we did take out this high, I still have conviction for this trade because I'm more focused on the overall draw on liquidity. I also see, we're getting a CISC on the 1 minute, combine this with this 15-second inverse. I know this entry aspect of it gets a little bit discretionary in a sense, but you can keep it very mechanical. We could just wait for this 1 minute. We could wait for this, 30-second. The point is, all you want to look for is that entry trigger, whatever it may be for you. Whatever, it's going to be different for everyone is the point I'm trying to make. So let's say we went with this 1 minute, right? Entry here, stop loss. We want to utilize as much as the leg as possible, considering how overextended this one is, though, or like just like how large it is and really how protected this position is going to be with this much momentum. Honestly, anywhere around here is fine. Go for about a 1-to-1. I think I barely caught a 1-to-1 this day, honestly. So it was, a combination, a little bit of luck involved too. And then the trade would look something like this. So let's go back to the 1 minute, place that order, limit, market, bang, save. And the trade would look something like that, right? Kind of just barely smash TP there. A lot of the times you're going to get cleaner entries. This is just one of those days where, you maybe didn't get your ideal entry. I also want you guys to get in the habit of using the leg completely for the most part when you get regular entries. Obviously, when you get an entry with such strong momentum, then, there's a bit of wiggle room there. You don't need to really use the whole leg. You already have a lot of space to work with. But when you're taking an entry down here, then you definitely want to use the entire leg always. Now let's go on to the next day. Let's see if we took anything the next day. So this day, 9:40. Was a trade, so it was in fact a patty swing. So let's see what we got. A 940. So off rip, I see that price is pretty bearish, but we did trade into this hourly gap, so we are in a good position to long. I could honestly take longs or shorts on a day like this. I think either works. We do have these like relatively equal highs ish on ES, so I could also see longs being valid. I could see shorts being valid, unfilled 4-hour gap on ES, but it looks like NQ did hit this unfilled 4-hour below. So ideally longs, but not opposed to shorts. Let's see what I ended up taking. Actually, it was a 940 long, right? So perfect. We went with the overall narrative of price. And so if I wanted to take longs, there's really only two scenarios here. I want to see price either And so we'll let market open now. And market immediately manipulates lower and is going down to this scenario, which is a resweep of this low inside this 4-hour gap. And so we get it. Beautiful resweep. That's the scenario I created in my head. And now I'm literally just looking for that inverse entry off of anywhere in this manipulation leg, which this is the most current manipulation leg. And this is perfect structure. You know, I like these 1 candle, 2 candle inverse opportunities. This is what to me is good structure, and then paired with good displacement gives me a lot of confidence. How I went about it pretty much was, once we opened up that 5-minute gap, which happened right there, ended up resweeping this low. I believe it was on the 15-second. I know, unbelievable. It was like 2 15-second back-to-back 2 15-second trades. Inverse around here, but I wanted more confirmation through displacement that price wanted to go higher. So this was just a fucking ballsy entry. But I knew that price was going to want to go up to this 5-minute, so I wanted to capitalize considering how good this higher time frame reaction was. I really like this, right? So just a bit of a delayed patty swing, right, where we're accumulating pre-market. We manipulate a bit more strongly than we anticipated all the way down to this gap, which we were referring to. And so around 9:40, we got this entry with this clean structure on the 15-second, which is why I went with that. And honestly, I played this one just really safe. I remember this day. I just ended up going break even once we broke through this high and then looked to target that unfilled 5-minute. And I was very grateful that I just simply TP'd at that 5-minute, because if I recall it, like we touched it by like a tick, forgot to freaking log it. And obviously you can see plays out within 2 minutes ish, a minute and a half. So that was nice. Now let's go into the next day. All right, guys, I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of got distracted. I forgot I had to go pick up my girlfriend. Then I hit the gym, and then I was too lazy to finish the video. But where were we? We were in May 21st. We are now in June. It is also now 2 days later, 3 days later since I recorded the last video, because I realized I wasn't sharing my screen the entire time while I went over the month of June. But anyways, we ended up only taking 3 trades for the month of May. All of them hit. But obviously the frequency wasn't very high with the patty swing in May. Now June, however, was very nice. And I remember, because if we look right here and we go to June, we can see that a lot of the trades were around that 9:30. So we got 9:53, we have 9:43, 9:31, 9:49, 9:36. Nope, those break evens weren't even patty swings. 10, 9:34, 9:30. 9:46. You get the point. So June was filled with them. So I'm just gonna run through June and see what I can catch. I'm just gonna trade every fucking day of June and see what we can get here. But let's get into this. Did it already skip me, bro? It already skipped me. Okay, it's all good. Go to next day. All right. So now I'm gonna go way faster with this. Okay, market's about to open up in 5 minutes. Is my screen recording? Cool. Bouncing off this hourly gap, we have this hourly high above. Both NQ and ES are in a good position to long. So ideally, I'd want to see a long, a resweep lower, or if we go higher first, then I'd be down to also take a short as long as we hit this level. So I could long if we resweep low or hit a 5-minute, or I can short. So I'm not opposed to either for a patty swing. All right. Price manipulates lower. Does that mean we're in a 5-minute? Yes, but is it going to hold is the question. Okay, we're going to go for the resweep. Nice. Oh, okay. And then this was a day where, yeah, so we hit this hourly gap. Cool. And sometimes when we distribute this this hard lower, I want to pay attention to see if these 5-minute gaps are going to open up. Because if they do, look, which now we have this unfilled 5-minute gap opening up, this becomes our new target. So originally I wanted a long and was planning on targeting somewhere up here, but since the manipulation was way lower, then I need to pay attention to these 5 minutes that open up and use those as my new target. And so I wait for that good structure to be created. And I think this day was like a 30-second of some sort. I believe it was right here, and smack this 30-second stop loss. Always use entire leg, and I'm gonna look to target that 5-minute like this, and this should be the trade. And I'm not gonna ask for more than this because you truly never know what's gonna happen after a 5-minute gets hit, right? So in this case, I would literally just go for classic 1-on-1, keep it as simple as this. And you can see that hits nicely. I think in this day I did end up holding to this high, yeah, which ended up hitting. And you could have even gone, you can always use ES as a guide and maybe even held to the major high up there. But the thing is, it's like, it's not worth taking that risk. It's better to just play the obvious, get your piece of the pie and get out. Just makes you feel way better about everything. But clearly you can see that ends up playing out nicely. I think there was even a short once this gap got hit too or something, but no, I guess I'm wrong. But yeah, very, very obvious little patty swing there, right? And I guess we ended up catching the beginning of it just up to the 5 minute. Alternatively, you could have gone and taken this 5 minute inversion, right? And then caught the bigger distribution move, or just, there's so many different ways to go about it. But point is, we analyzed that pre-market accumulation. We created our scenario. We wanted longs, price manipulated lower at 930. We know we hit that key level, that hourly gap. From there, we were confident in our longs, and we just wanted to see that inverse to the upside, whether the structure was right here, which we could take in this 30-second, or we took the 5 minute. You know, there's different ways to go about it, but very obviously nonetheless. And now let's go on to the next day. Cool. And let's skip through here and wait right before market opens. Okay, so now let's go here. Let's create our scenario. So price looks pretty choppy for the most part here, but I do see shorts being a bit more obvious because ES looks like it's clearly trending lower down to this low. It looks like ES wants that low. So I'm going to use that as my reference point and see if we get any sort of shorts, and that'll really be my only, I think that'll be my only thing that I'm looking for. So we get manipulation higher at open, exactly what I want to see. Do we manipulate into something? We do hit this 5 minute gap. So we know that this 930 manipulation is valid. We do have this pre-market accumulation. Now I want to see that inverse to the downside. Okay, we don't get it yet. Okay, right here we could theoretically enter right here, but we'll give it another candle for extra confirmation because we are inside this 30-second. Okay, cool. There we can enter. So this is totally fine being an entry because I'm not worried about us hitting this little low right here because it's not inside a 5 minute gap or anything, and I still have conviction the price wants to go lower. And here I'm expecting a big sell-off. We have a lot of LR below. ES is in a good position to distribute lower. It still has that low below as well on that hourly time frame. We're rejecting this 5 minute beautifully. I mean, this is honestly just a fucking great patty swing. We even manipulated higher and took those highs. This is gorgeous. We have the 1 minute, we have the 30-second paired as well with it. Cool. Tons of LR below. This is what the trade would look like. Go ahead and place that order, market, bang, save, and we'll get into this. Bang, beautiful, beautiful delivery. So 2 for 2 in the month of June so far. We'll go on to the next day. Sorry that I'm going a bit fast now, but you know, we gotta get going. Already off rip, I can identify we have this pre-market accumulation. That's the main thing I usually want to see going into any morning that I'd expect a patty swing. And then of course I want to make sure that there's scenarios that are possible that are actually possible and would give me a reason to enter. So I see that we have this unfilled hourly gap above, but I also see that we're bouncing off this hourly gap below. So I wouldn't be opposed to longs or shorts in a day like this. I'm not going to be picky. I think the overall movement of price though tells me that it does want to go lower. We are very bearish. So ideally I'd want to see maybe a short if we get price manipulates higher at open, but I wouldn't be opposed to a long. And so if I got a long, if price manipulated lower, then I'd want to see price take out that low, or maybe even just resweep or hit one of these 5 minute gaps down here. I don't know. I'll kind of play it by ear. I kind of forgot how I played this day, but let's see. Ideally, though, it does seem that the short is more obvious. This just seems like a very obvious level to react off of, but longs aren't out of the picture whatsoever. So let's see what happens. 930 opens and opens up lower. Okay, so we hit that 5 minute gap down here. Take out these 5 minute intermediate lows. Nice. Okay, this could be a setup for sure. Do we have something on the 30-second? Oh, super strong reaction on the 30-second. Okay, so we get manipulation lower. We take out these 5 minute intermediate lows. This is a really good level to react off of. We know that we're bouncing off the hourly gap, so we don't have to go back down to this low. And we have this unfilled hourly gap above. Perfect. So we actually have everything for the longs in this case, right? I'm not going to question it too much. We have the foundation of our trade, which is that hourly gap we are bouncing off of. If I go on the hourly chart, we're bouncing off this hourly gap. We have our narrative for why price should go higher. We have this unfilled hourly gap above. Cool. And then we have this little patty swing forming, which is pre-market accumulation, manipulation lower, tap into the 5 minute. And we're getting this super strong reaction on the 30-second chart with this perfect inverse right here. I will say the structure could be better for a trade like this, but given the reaction and how obvious the draw and liquidities are here, there's not really much of a reason to question this. Normally, I would say use entire leg. So you're always going to be safe using the entire leg and save yourself a couple of losses that are annoying. So fuck it, just for the sake of you guys learning the proper way to trade it, use entire leg. Always use stop loss to its full capability. We'll go ahead and enter a long here and see what we can get. I guess our entry was right there. It doesn't really matter though. And there it is. Bang. So it plays out. So 3 for 3 so far in the month of June. Let's go ahead to the next day. And let's see what we got going on here. Okay, kind of a hard day. I can't really tell what's happening here. I don't know what direction I'd want to play anything because we don't have a lot of hourly structure. No 4-hour gaps, no 1-hour gaps. This is probably a no trade day. But I do see that ES low-key wants to go lower down to these lows. So maybe shorts if anything. Let me just see how market opens and I'll play it off that. Sometimes I do that with the patty swing too. Just let market open decide. Seems like market opens higher into this 5-minute gap. We have that pre-market accumulation, so this could be a setup. This could be good in the 30-second. Okay. Seems like we're getting 1-minute confirmation there. Is that the entry? ES is in a perfect spot to distribute lower. Overall, we're super bearish, and I do think ES wants these lows. So this is a way to play it for sure. Pretty obvious patty swing, I'd say. Okay, there's an entry right there. Oh, I actually remember this day. This is when I this is when I was in fucking this is when I was at the restaurant in Vietnam with my brother. But yeah, pretty obvious entry here. We're getting that 30-second inverse manipulation higher into the 5-minute gap, right? Bouncing off this 5-minute. This is the 5-minute right here, bouncing off that. We have this 30-second inverse pre-market accumulation. I mean, this is patty swing and it's fucking pure nature, bro. And in this case, I mean, how could you play this since you don't have an obvious key level to target on NQ? Well, if you want to be ballsy, you could rip, you know, a short all the way down to ES hits this. I would say if you don't have a clear drawn liquidity, but you do have a clear understanding that price wants to go lower, then just be safe and go for, you know, that 1-to-1-ish. But I guarantee you this ends up selling off for a while. I mean, I also just remember it, and I'm not like being a genie right now. And so we'll see here on the hourly chart, right? Like in this case, you could just hold until ES takes that. And let's see if ES ends up taking that. Yep, ends up taking it right there. So you could have TP'd, I mean, what, like 10 points more. But yeah, beautiful setup nonetheless. Once again, now let's go into this day. Immediately looking at a day like this, I probably wouldn't want to trade. I mean, it just looks really bad. We're super bullish just inside a lot of these hourly bearish gaps. It's hard to tell what's going to happen. It's hard to form a bias. I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, well, shouldn't longs be the obvious answer here? Sure, but it's not always the best to trade these type of conditions. Like, so even after getting this manipulation lower, right? And a lot of people are going to be thinking, oh, well, I should take this because price hit this 5-minute gap and we're getting a reaction right here and everything looks good. Like I said, it's very hard to tell what we're going to do in the hourly time frame. Yes, we are bullish, but we're also inside all these bearish gaps. So when it's really hard to determine just overall what price wants to do, and the structure looks so bad, like we've been displacing what, 300 points higher pretty much with little to no retracement. These are not the conditions you want to be in. So normally you would fade a day like this. A lot of people get baited into shit like this, right? But that's why I emphasize structure and displacement in the beginning of this video. And you can see that setup ends up failing. Once you get some better structure right here, this is probably where it ends up playing out. No, but we're inside that 5-minute actually, so you can't even be longing yet. But now we're getting better structure, right? So bouncing off that hourly gap, cool. Now we're bouncing off this 5-minute. Oh, this was a short, and I ended up taking a short this day. So I remember I faded this long and ended up taking this short. And this ended up playing out, but this is not really a patty swing, so I'm not going to include this in there. But you can also see I got saved because I used a stop loss all the way. Anyways, let's go on to the next day. Already I like the structure that I'm seeing. Looks way better than last day, but the hourly time frame doesn't look that good. I do think we are in a good position to trade lower though. That's for sure. And yes looks kind of funky. I think I'd either want to see longs if price trades down to here, or if we get a resweep of the high, then I'd want to see, then we could get some good. All right, my hair was bothering me a ton, so I put on a hat, but let's get back into this. So like I said, my scenarios is shorts ideally, honestly. Yeah, ideally shorts for sure. Let's see what we get. Price manipulates higher, just what I want to see. Okay, and are we getting an entry for shorts? Okay, yeah, right there. So price manipulates higher, sweeps out this hourly high just like I wanted, and now we're getting that confirmation through this 30-second inverse that price wants to go lower. I will say this wick before makes it kind of funky, the trade, because you get this like random wick that wicks lower, but that wick doesn't end up hitting anything important, doesn't end up hitting a 5-minute gap, doesn't end up taking out this major low, doesn't end up running any of this LR. So honestly, I would say the setup and everything is still intact, and this is still a valid trade. But if you guys disagree, that's totally fine. This is, I think, where just a little bit of discretion kicks into place. Right, so some people would see this wick and be like, oh, well, the setup's fucked. Well, I'm focused on the fact that, well, we swept out this high perfectly and we're still getting displacement lower. We're still inversing this 30-second and we have all this LR below. So I would just play the trade still as is and just run it like this. And I still think it's a quality setup and it plays out nicely. I'm sure it probably ends up running a lot of the LR too, or I could be wrong actually. Some of it. But yeah, and then I guess there was even a long you could take or something. I don't even know. The short was definitely better. That's the patty swing. But let's go into the next day. Already I like the structure that I'm seeing on the next day. Very clean for the most part. We're bouncing off this hourly bearish gap. Price looks like in a great position to go lower down to these lows. I like what I'm seeing. Shorts seem like the obvious play here. We also have this unfilled hourly gap above. So if I can either get shorts from around here or I can get shorts from up here. That's my scenarios. But I want to see manipulation higher at open. Maybe I could get a long if we manipulate lower. I think that's what I did that day. But let's see what price does at 9:30 and then we'll go from there. I always let price just speak for me. 9:30 doesn't really do anything until sometimes it takes a bit. Okay, manipulation lower. Do we hit a 5-minute? We do hit, oh, we hit this 15-minute. Okay, interesting. Strong 30-second to the upside. ES looks like in a really good position to go higher too. This could be a pretty solid long. This could be a pretty solid long. Was this what I took? I mean, this is pretty much a patty swing here, I will say. Yeah, this doesn't look bad at all. I think this is what I ended up taking, but I honestly can't remember. Should I check real quick? I told myself I wasn't going to check anymore to see how raw I could backtest throughout all this, but Wednesday, June 10th. Wednesday, June 10th. Yep, I ended up taking that long. W, bro. W. So, yep. Now I definitely know I like it. 101 point stop loss. Stop loss size is all relative. Don't be discouraged just by the size of the stop loss. You can always go with less contracts into the trade. So it's never an excuse not to enter something. Here we have a 30-second or you have a 1-minute, either or you can take. The 30-second seems to be a pretty common theme though with this patty swing. But yeah, we'll smack this long, target that major high, and plays out beautifully. Once again, just such an easy setup. I originally wanted shorts on that day, but I remember you got to let price play out and see what it's saying, you know, be reactionary. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Already, I'm not the biggest fan of what I'm seeing. It seems very choppy. Don't know if I would get anything on a day like this. 4 hour looks horrible. 1 hour looks horrible. I mean, I could see longs if we go down to here, probably. Did I take something this day? The 11th. Oh, I took a break even. Is that 1033? Okay, so yeah, I mean, you can just tell that you're probably not getting any sort of patty swing on this day, but let's just confirm it. Maybe I missed something. Price manipulates lower eventually. Yeah, so super choppy. I mean, there wasn't really anything here. Looks like a whole lot of bullshit. We weren't reacting off of anything there. I guess there's an S&T with ES here. ES wasn't in the worst position. You could have low key made something out of this, but I don't know. NQ's my main focus. ES is my guide. So if NQ ultimately looks like shit, I'm not gonna enter. But yeah, there was something there, but at the same time, it really wasn't. This day there wasn't anything as well. So let's skip. But let me just confirm it real quick, because I don't know. Maybe I missed something that day. I wasn't paying attention. I mean, 930 immediately manipulates lower. Okay. Did we trade into anything? Oh, no. Just bouncing off that wick. No, we didn't hit any key levels, so I would fade this. And that's why you fade it. Bang. That's why you fade it, bro. Not bouncing off anything important, so why would you take it? And then right here, we hit that low, but we're not inside any hourly gaps. ES looks like it still wants to go down lower to this unfilled hourly gap. So yeah, I mean, this doesn't look like you end up getting any sort of patty swing unless, yeah, there was nothing there either. I remember checking that on that day. Yeah, so no trade day. We'll go ahead and skip this. Now we're on Monday the 15th. Monday the 15th. How does this look? Already, I'm not the biggest fan of the hourly structure. We look like we're just super bullish and we're just chopping around the top. I doubt I took anything on this day. I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm not wrong. We didn't take out anything. Honestly, just if I saw an hourly structure like this, I'm immediately getting off. Looks awful. This is not the pre-market accumulation I'm referring to when I say I want to see pre-market accumulation. So yeah, definitely fading this. Now let's see, 16. This looks way better off rip. I can tell price is very bearish. We most likely want to go down to this hourly low over here, or do we have a 4 hour instead? Okay, so that's the unfilled 4 hour too. So this is just an obvious day for me where I see this and I'm like, okay, well, price is bearish. I can either say continuation longs down to this unfilled hourly gap, or I can take longs off of that. So that's my scenario. I just want to see price manipulate higher and give me some sort of short. That's all I'm asking for. So let's see what we get. Okay, price manipulates lower, but we're in no position to be longing yet because we didn't hit that hourly gap. So no trade so far. Okay, then we hit this hourly gap. This is the true manipulation I want to see. I don't want to get faked out by something like this. Now we've actually hit a key level. We've hit this hourly gap, or 15 minute gap, and we still have that unfilled hourly gap below. So now I want to see that patty swing form. Okay. So there's a 1 minute right here. Okay, resweep of the high and 1 minute inverse of the downside. So right here could be your entry. I think on this day I waited for extra confirmation because sometimes I can't tell if we're just getting stuck in like accumulation. So this is really this is something that improved my win rate a ton. Like on days like this where I can't really tell if like we're ready to distribute lower despite having the setup or bouncing off the 15 minute. We have the resweep of the high and we have the inverse right here. But since it's an inverse of such a small gap, sometimes I just wait for an extra candle and I'll sacrifice a bit of RR, which I think is what I ended up doing. I waited for one more, maybe even one more. Yeah, there. I waited until this, but you guys could have entered off of here, obviously. And then I just played it like this. But, you know, this is, I'm just showing you how I played it. You can play it however you want. I don't know if I ended up holding all the way down to here, but I do have complete conviction that we are going to go down to there. So I'll put it all the way down. What's going on? There we go. Send this. There it is. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. I remember also taking this trade. I was in a bar in Kyoto and I was really hammered. Oh my God. I was stressing out. I was stressing out. But yeah, that's why I waited for the extra displacement candle, because like I said, structure is one thing, displacement paired with it is way more important, and once I get that strong kick in displacement, it gives me way more confidence. So yeah, another W. Awesome. So far we haven't lost a single trade all of June. And now let's see what we got going on here. Hourly time frame looks pretty good. We're bouncing off this hourly bullish gap, unfilled hourly gap above. So I could take continuation longs towards this unfilled hourly gap, or I can take shorts off this hourly gap. All right, so price can manipulate lower and I can long, or price can manipulate higher and I can short. So let's see what we get. 930 manipulates higher. Awesome. That's what I wanted to see. And awesome. That's the reaction I wanted to see as well. And I know a lot of you guys would probably fade this, but I think this is a perfectly valid setup. You hit this hourly gap, the exact gap that we wanted to see get traded into, right? And we have the super strong reaction. And the way I would see it is like, dude, you know, you're pretty much inversing this entire leg. Like you have like little gaps in here, and you're inversing all this shit. Plus you're getting like that CIC combo. But mainly focus on that structure and displacement, right? Which we have there. The inverse itself is just the entry trigger. So don't overthink it. You know what I mean? Like in this case, everything is super obvious. We have such a clean structure. We are inversing these like tiny 1 minute gaps, whatever. And we pretty much have everything we want to see. So just roll with something like this. You don't have to take my advice, but this is a trade I ended up taking, and it is pretty obvious, I'd say. So yeah, how would I play this? I want to make sure I'm break even at the next key level. The next key level is going to be this 5 minute intermediate low right here. So I'll go break even there and then just hold all the way to the bottom. Yeah, I think that's how I would play it. Or I wouldn't hold all the way to the bottom. I just want to get a 1-to-1 here. So I'll go like this, because you never know what happens when you hit that 5 minute. And bang, it plays out. It ends up going a bit lower too. But that was nice as well. Free little setup. And now let's see what we got this day. Okay, so this day seems like pretty obvious for shorts. Just want to see price go up there first and then short, or I can take continuation longs towards that. Not opposed to either. Let's see what the market tells us. Structure doesn't look too bad, but not too good. We are very bullish. Honestly, I would avoid days like this for the most part. But let's see. We do have a clean 1 minute gap right there. And good displacement lower. Do we have an unfilled 5 minute we can break even at? We have this unfilled 5 minute right here. I remember taking this trade. But I will say it's understandable if you would fade something like this, because the structure wasn't the greatest on this, but I did have a lot of conviction for it. Once again, just because all the other factors were in play. Also, ES looked really good. I like to use ES as my reference a ton, right? Like if ES looks good to distribute, then you know NQ should distribute. But I like to see cleaner swings, right? Like cleaner structure is what I'm trying to say. This is kind of iffy, but I did end up taking this, so I might as well throw it in the statistic. And it is technically a patty swing. It just could use better structure, and I played it like this. So that's pretty much what the trade looked like. Still all the same principles. 1 minute inverse. You know, we got that scenario playing out. Tapped into the hourly gap. Cool. And then our target being like an unfilled 5 minute gap is perfect, and it played out really fast and nicely. So yep, I also remember taking this trade. I was taking a poop in Kyoto. Nice. Now next one, off rip. I like the structure that I'm seeing these days, that we have like this like displacement up and this accumulation is usually pretty obvious what the draw on liquidity is going to be. Usually just going to be a long, right? Follows this sort of pattern-ish. So I go in the hourly time frame, make sure that we are in a good position to go higher. Yes, we're bouncing off this hourly gap. We took out these lows. Price looks like it wants to go higher. We have these highs above 2, so there's a foundation, there's a narrative, foundation, narrative. And I just want to see price manipulate lower at open, tap into a 5-minute gap, and then get a long. But instead it opens up higher, and it looks like it's presenting a short. Yeah, I don't think I ended up taking anything this day. Oh yeah, because this day, I mean, in theory, you could validate this trade. Why? Because if this setup were to play out, that means you're sweeping out this 4-hour intermediate high, and you end up holding this 4-hour bearish gap. And I know a lot of people actually ended up taking this trade that day, but I faded it because I thought we were just going to keep displacing past this 4-hour gap. But if we're speaking mechanically, this it's still a valid setup. Like, you have this beautiful 30-second nice pre-market accumulation, 5-minute gap below. I'm not going to throw this in the statistic just because I didn't take it, but I feel like you guys would, but whatever. Oh, ended up failing. Oh, W. Fuck yeah. I thought this shit played out. I could have sworn I saw my DMs get flooded that day with like, why didn't you take that? That was so free. You guys would understand what it's like. Friday, June 19th. Did I end up taking June 19th? No, I didn't take anything. No trades for this day. Oh, W. This is ball knowledge, bro. This is how you know you're fucking good at this shit. I'm like, huh, this setup looks good, but it's kind of iffy or whatever. And I remember I didn't take it, but I thought everyone else took it and they banked on it. But nah, Patty won. Patty got away. So yeah, I mean, fade day. Why is it a fade day? I mean, for the reasons I said. But if you ended up taking this, honestly, it wasn't the worst setup. But it's just like, we're very bullish. Price is already opens up like 150 points higher. We're bouncing off these hourly bullish gaps. We're not bouncing off any hourly bearish gaps. Price seems to go want to go higher up to like these highs, and we're displacing through this 4-hour. I mean, that's what I was going through my head that day, but everyone thinks differently and builds their statistic differently. So, but yeah, we can go ahead and move on from that. Off rip, I'm not the biggest fan of what I'm seeing, but I could see potential shorts. I think that's what this day was like. There's an unfilled hourly gap right here. So the way you could go about it, I mean, you could long if price manipulates lower into the 50-minute gap. Structure looks good for longs if we manipulate lower, and structure looks good for shorts if we manipulate higher. So could play it either way. Let's see what happens. Okay, whoa, that happened really fast. Price manipulates higher. Awesome. And we hit that hourly gap. Cool. Now I just need confirmation through inverse. We haven't quite inversed. This looks really good. 930 manipulates higher. Bang. 30-second inverse. There it is. There's the entry. Bang, bang, bang. That's going to be a fast break even though. So in this case, you have to pray you get lucky and you don't get to break even. Most trades like this end up being break even though, I will tell you that. So let's see what happens. Oh, saved. Not saved. We got break even. But yeah, got break even on that. And then now you're presenting a good long as well, bouncing off that 15-minute, 1-minute inverse to the upside. Oh, this is the day I took both these fucking trades, and I got break even on both of them. June 22nd. Where is that? Yeah, I got break even on both of these. Oh yeah, you guys get the point. You get the point. But the first one is the true patty swing, so whatever. Sometimes you get break even. What can you do about it? Then the 23rd, there was no patty swing. It looks like 24th, no trade. 25th, patty swing. So let's go to those days. I mean, let's see why the next days had no entry. Maybe I just missed something. I could have fully just missed something. So let's see. Okay, 930 opens up lower. Are we trading into anything? We're completing this new week opening gap, so that is a level you could technically long off of. Okay, and we are getting a reaction. I mean, you could technically rip like a 30-second CIST, but this is definitely more on the discretionary side. Good pre-market accumulation, good market open manipulation, good key levels to target, unfilled 5-minute above. I mean, this could be a W patty swing if that's technically still an entry though, because you didn't hit any sort of key level. Like, look, you haven't hit any 5 or 15-minute gaps. 15 minutes right here. So you would go break even here. You can even TP around there too. Even though we took out this high, it's just a high inside of all these highs. It's like a LR. It's noise pretty much is what I'm saying. But yeah, I feel like this would so play out, right? 930 manipulates lower, completes that new week opening gap, 30-second inverse to the upside. I just don't really like that I mean, it's whatever, bro. I know this is gonna play out. I'm not gonna throw it in the statistic, but just to show you guys, you can tell me whether or not, I'm curious whether or not you guys would take this from what you've learned now and you understand. Like sometimes these sweeps of these internal highs don't mean anything unless it's at a key level. So I'm curious if you guys would end up taking this. So answer right now, type it in the comments. Would you or would you not take this trade? I'm very curious. I'm not gonna end up executing it for the statistic, but I'm curious if you guys would. And you would go break even there, and you would get break even. So you would have got break even anyways, bozo. Not like it mattered anyways. But then let's see, we hit that 15-minute gap, and maybe you get a short from here. This could be a good short. Nope, doesn't seem like anything ends up happening. So in that case, you get off. On to the next. Wednesday 24th. Did I take anything? No, but let's make sure I didn't miss anything either. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, manipulation lower, and then price ended up just ripping higher. That's probably why I didn't take anything. Oh, we were just super choppy on the hourly time frame. Yeah, immediate fade day, no brainer. Damn, bro, I was on my discipline shit. What day is it now? The 25th. I ended up taking something off 930 at rip. Okay, probably was a short then. Oh, we have this unfilled hourly gap below as well. So I could see shorts if we manipulate higher and take out this high, reshoot this high, or longs if we take out that low. So pretty obvious patty swing type of day. And cool, we got manipulation lower. Oh, I remember what I did here. Wait, let me reverse. Let me just show you guys. This was actually, Brio, you need big brain for this one. Look, 930 ends up, wait, watch this. Watch what I did this day. There's a 5-minute gap right here, right? I said, maybe price manipulates higher and I get a short down to this unfilled hourly gap. Then look what price does. Manipulates higher and gives me the inverse in the same fucking candle. And I ended up ripping it like this, which is totally valid, honestly. There's nothing not valid about this, right? Like we have this unfilled hourly gap below. We're bouncing off these hourly gaps. And then we ended up manipulating into this 5-minute, and then we got this 30-second inverse to the downside. I mean, it's just crazy because it's all in the same candle, but this is totally valid. I'm going to throw this in there just because I'm actually fucking proud of this trade, and you need to be on top of your shit for this. Yeah, it was just an absolute fucking banger. Now we have Friday the 26th. Doesn't seem like I ended up taking anything, or I got break even on and short at 933. I feel like that was the day where I entered by accident. But let's see, maybe I'm wrong. So off rip, price is in a really weird position. It doesn't seem like there's going to be anything on this day. It looks horrible across all time frames. Unfilled 4-hour gap below. Maybe I was looking for a continuation short. Let's see. We hit this 15-minute gap. Okay, yeah, we hit a 15-minute gap. And we have this unfilled 4-hour gap below. So that's probably what my thought process was that day. And what did I do? I entered at 936, I think it was. When did I enter? 933. No, that wasn't the day. 933. Oh, right here. So I sent this short. Yeah, which isn't bad. Resweep of this high. Trade into this 15-minute 4-hour gap below. Not horrible. Oh, and bouncing off that 4-hour. Okay, no, it makes sense why I took this actually. But structure was definitely on the shittier side. So let's see what happened. I mean, it was a break even, which isn't going to impact the statistic whatsoever. Wait, how did I get break even? This looks like it played out. How the fuck did I get break even? Jesus. I'm actually a doofenshmirtz. How did I get break even on that if it literally played out? I was probably holding to the unfilled 4-hour gap, wasn't I? That's definitely what I was doing. It happens. It happens. But yeah, I mean, honestly, just overall, higher time frame didn't look that good, so probably should have been a fade day. Curious what you guys think about that. They didn't end up throwing it in, but low-key could have been a dub or a break even. We'll go on to the next day. And the next day is going to be the 29th, and then we have the 30th. The 29th, I didn't end up taking anything. Why is that? Higher time frame just looks fucking diabolical. Super choppy. I can't even determine a scenario here. Makes perfect sense why I didn't take anything. Oh yeah, look at these candles. What the fuck is going on? I think it was like a bank holiday or something. Go ahead and skip this. And then we'll go on to the last day of June. And let's see what we got going on here. What time did we enter? 9:46. Okay. Yeah, on a day like this, I could see either shorts or longs, honestly. I could see either or. Longs if we trade down to here, manipulate down to here, or shorts if we manipulate, you know, up into this 5-minute or 15-minute, either of these 15 minutes. So, beautiful pre-market accumulation, the exact structure I like to see for a patty swing. And, okay, price manipulates higher, hits that 15-minute, manipulates even higher. Where do we go here? Oh, did we end up hitting this hourly high right here? Because that would be a good spot to short. 9:46. Wait, when did I enter? Oh, I ended up switching my bias. 9:46. I ripped a long, but that's not really a patty swing, so there's no point of even throwing that in there. Yeah, it's not really a patty swing. Okay, whatever. Well, that pretty much sums up June and the entire session. So let's get out of this. How do we let's go here. So by the way, since I did this in 2 separate increments, I fucking backed us to June in itself, which obviously we can see, you know, ended up banging. I don't know if this perfectly aligns with the other one, but at the end of the day, your statistics should have been something like this. This includes both the months. A total of around like 17 or 18 trades, I think, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 trades. There's 4 weeks in each month. And if you took 18 trades, that's 8 weeks total. That's like 2 trades a week. 2-point-something trades a week with the patty swing, totaling around 94% win rate for those 2 months. Does that mean you're going to maintain the same statistic and it's going to be like that every fucking time? Absolutely fucking not. You can have a dog shit month. You can have dog shit psychology and miss half of these. But the point is, if you really just focus on this type of setup, you understand that it's low frequency but very high win rate. And yeah, you need to be absolutely fucking dialed to be catching all these. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Please subscribe to my new channel, Mr. Lovelace. Do that. Just do it for me, because you love me. And I hope you guys have been printing. Obviously, if you've been using the setup, I mean, I see you guys' DMs every fucking day on Instagram. It sounds like you guys are doing great. But yeah, play my song, or pre-save it is what I meant to say. And I hope you guys have been good. Let me know what other videos you want to see from me. And yeah, much love.